We're moving into chapter 2 and we're going to be looking at conversions. So English units and unit conversion. When you talk about a 4-foot by 8-foot wall panel, a 1.5 inch bolt, 3 pound of solder, or a gallon of paint, you are comparing an object with a standard. The units or standards used in science, technology, or trade have two important characteristics. They are convenient in size and they are standardized. Common units such as the foot, pound, gallon, or hour were originally chosen because they were related either to natural quantities or to body measurements. So we're going to be looking at units and how to do conversions. So here, this is some of the basic length units that we use. 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 yard is 3 feet or 36 inches. The rod may be something new to you. So 1 rod equals 16.5 feet. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet or 1,760 yards. Some weight units. 1 pound is 16 ounces and 1 ton is 200 pounds. Liquid capacity units. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, 1 quart equals 2 pints, and 1 pint equals 2 cups. So here we're going to convert 4 yards to feet. From the table, we know that 1 yard is defined as exactly 3 feet. So therefore, 4 yards is equal to 4 times 3, which is 12 feet. So that one's pretty easy. So let's try another one that's a little bit more difficult. Surveyors use a unit of length called a rod, defined as exactly 6.5 feet. Convert 11 yards to rods. So let's first get the yards to feet. So since we know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard, we can do 11 times 3. So then we have 33 feet. And then since we need to get to rods, we could divide by 16.5. Okay, so this is going to be 33 over 16.5. And you can put that in your calculator. You should get 2. So there is 2 rods in 11 yards. So let's talk about unity fractions that make these types of problems a little bit easier. So the first step in converting a number from one unit to another is to set up a unity fraction. You also may hear this called a unit fraction from the definition linking the two units. To convert a distance from yard units to foot units, you're going to take the equation relating yards to feet. So we know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, and it can form the fractions 1 yard over 3 feet or 3 feet over 1 yard. Both of those equal 1. These fractions are called unity fractions because they are both equal to 1. Any fraction whose top and bottom are equal has a value of 1. So even though the units are different, because they do create equal units or equal measurements, they are equal to the value of 1. So here's some practice, just practicing writing these unity fractions. So if I have 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, then I could write some unit fractions as 12 inches over 1 foot or 1 foot over 12 inches equal to 1. 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So that one could be 1 pound over 16 ounces or 16 ounces over 1 pound equal to 1. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon, so 4 quarts over 1 gallon, 1 gallon over 4 quarts equals 1. So depending on what we need is how we will write these unit fractions, and you will start seeing that in some examples. So let's convert the distance 4 yards to foot units. So we will be multiplying. So you're going to choose the unit fraction that cancels the yards and replaces it with feet. So we are going to start by writing 4 yards as a fraction. So 4 yards, because there is no per, we can write it over 1 times, and we need to cancel yard units. So because we need to cancel yard units and it's in the numerator, we will cancel to the denominator. So we're going to put our yards down here, and our feet will go in the numerator. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So now you're going to notice that the yard units cancel and leave me with feet, and you're going to just multiply straight across. So 4 times 3 is 12, leaves us with feet. 1 times 1 is 1, so 12 over 1 is just equal to 12 feet. You must always choose one of the 2 unity fractions, multiply by the fractions that allows you to cancel out the yard units and that you do not want, and to keep the feet units that you do want. And remember, any number that is a can be written as a over 1, so that we can write any number as a fraction. Let's do one more example, and then you guys can do some practice problems. So we have 6.25 feet, and we're trying to get to inches. So let's do 6.25 feet over 1. Of course, we're multiplying, so we need to set up a unit fraction. We want to cancel feet. Feet are in the numerator, so we've got to cancel to the denominator. 1 foot has 12 inches. We're going to cancel those feet units and leave us with inches. And then we're going to multiply across. So 6.25 times 12 gives me 75. 1 times 1 is 1. I'm left with inches. So that final answer there for part A is 75 inches. You can pause the video here and do B through H practice problems. And then when you're ready, start it up again and you'll be able to see the answers. So here are the answers to A through H from the previous slide. If you have any questions as you are looking at these, please send me a message in our team channel, and I am happy to answer anything. That way, if someone else has a question, they can see the answer as well. If you need some more time to check your answers, you can pause the video now. So in the English system of units commonly used in the United States in technical work, the basic units for length, weight, and time are named with a single word or abbreviation. So like FT for feet, LB for pounds, and SEC for seconds. We may also define units for more complex quantities using these basic units. For example, the common unit of speed is miles per hour, or mph, and that involves both distance, which is our miles, and time, hours, units. So the units named using the product or quotient of 2 or more simpler compound or units is called a compound unit, and you will see how to do conversions with these in the coming slides. So if a car travels 75 miles at a constant rate of 1.5 hours, then it's moving at a speed of 50 miles per hour. So how do you do that? You do 75 miles divided by 1.5 hours, and you would get 50 miles per hour. Notice that these units do not cancel out because they are different, miles and hours. We can't cancel things unless they are the same. So we're just looking at a speed here. We write this speed as 50 miles per hour, or 50 mph, and it is read as 50 miles per hour. Ratios and rates are often written with compound units. So here we're going to look at which of the following are expressed in compound units. Remember that a compound unit is where they have been multiplied or divided. So if we take a look at this, we have a compound unit at B for density, pounds per cubic feet, C for gas usage, miles per gallon or mpg, E for rotation rate, revolution per minute or rpm, F for pressure, pound per square inch or psi, a cost ratio in G for cents per pound, I is area, which is square feet. So this actually means that we multiplied feet, feet times feet. So because we multiplied two units, that is also a compound unit. And J is a compound unit because this is cubic inches. So we said inches times inches times inches. There are two different units used in H, which is our length of 5 yards, 2 feet, but they have not been combined by multiplying or dividing. So again, you have to think about, has this been multiplied or divided? So looking at area, area equals 1 foot times 1 foot, which would give us 1 square foot. To see the relation between square feet, area units, and square inch area units, we're going to rewrite that area formula from above in inch units. So we know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So these are equal, these are equal. So 12 times 12 is 144. Then you also have your units. So you have inch and inch. That's why these are being pulled down here. So 144 times inch is 144 square inches. So that means that 1 square foot is equal to 144 square inches. Here is visually what is happening. So you have the 1 foot block. Then over here on the right, you have it split into your 12 by 12 of inches. And if you counted all of those little squares, you would get 144. Okay, so let's do an example here. I have 15 square feet. How many square inches is that going to be? We are going to use those unit fractions. So I have 15 square feet over 1 times 1 square foot is equal to that 144 square inches. Cancel your units. So square feet are going to cancel. That leaves us with our square inches. 15 times 144. So that's what you're doing there. 15 times 144. You're keeping the square inches. And that gives you 2,160 square inches. So here are some area units for you. Going down, 1 square foot is equal to 144 square inches. 1 square yard is equal to 9 square feet, or 1,296 square inches. You can see that 1 square yard is equal to 30.25 square yards. 1 acre, and you can see your 1 square mile. So there's some quick units for you to help you in your conversions. So we're going to do a couple of these conversion problems, and you're going to see the examples on the following slides. So for A, we're going to convert 4,800 acres to square miles. B, we're going to do 2.5 square yards to square inches. C, we're going to do 10 square yards to acres. And in part D, we have an application problem. So let's go ahead and get started with these. So let's look at A. We have 4,800 acres. equals how many square miles. So remember, you always want to start with your unit given, and you're going to create your unit fraction. So 4,800 acres over 1. And then you're going to use what you need to get to. So I am trying to get 2 square miles, so that needs to go in the numerator. I'm canceling my acres, that goes in the denominator. And we know that 1 square mile has 640 acres. This information is just coming from the previous slide for you. You're going to cancel your units, so cancel acres, and then multiply. So you will do 4,800 times 1, which is 4,800. 1 times 640, which leaves you with 640. We are working with square miles now because that's the only unit left. And then you're going to end up with division here. So you're going to do 4,800 divided by 640, and that gives you 7.5 square miles. For this next one, we are converting 2.50 square yards to square inches. So again, starting with what I have, so 250 square yards over 1 times, we're going to cancel square yards, so they need to go in the denominator, and square inches need to go in the numerator. And from the previous table, we know that 1 square yard has 1,296 square inches. Cancel those units. And we're left with our square inches, and we're going to do 2.50 times 1,296. 1 times 1 is, of course, going to just give us that 1. And you should end up with 3,240 square inches. So in part C, we have 1,210 square yards, converting to acres. So you can pause the video here and try this problem on your own. I'm going to go ahead and go through this. So we have 1,210 square yards over 1. We're going to multiply that by 1 acre over 4,840 square yards. Cancel my units. So 1,210 times 1 over 1 times 4,840 is 4,840. We're left with acres. Now I'm going to do division. So remember, it's going to be the 1,210 divided by 4,840. And if you divide that, you should get 0.25 acre. Here we are looking at example D, so you can read through that problem. What we're going to be doing is comparing Carpet City offering carpet at $42.95 per square yard, and a competitor, Carpetorium, is offering the comparable carpet at $4.95 per square foot. And we're trying to figure out which is a better buy. So to be able to compare them, we do need to have them at the same unit. So let's just write down what we know right now. We know that one of them is $42.95 per square yard, and the other one is $4.95 per square foot. So we need to get this $4.95 per square foot converted to some price per square yard. So here we're going to set up a unit fraction, 495 per 1 square foot. And we know we want to cancel our square feet, so they have to go from the denominator to the numerator. We're trying to get to per square yard. We're going to end up canceling those units there, so square feet are going to end up canceling. We know also that 1 square yard is equivalent to 9 square feet. Now that we have our unit fraction set up, we've canceled those units, we can just multiply straight across. So remember, you're going to just do your 495 times 9, and then that's going to be 1 times 1. So you should get, when you do 495 times 9, 44.55 per square yard. So I'm just going to rewrite that up here in our problem so we can do this quick comparison. So 44.55. So we have 42.95 per square yard at Carpet City and 44.55 per square yard at Carpetorium. Which one is your best deal? So in looking at it now that we have the same units, it will be Carpet City. So now let's take a look at volume. Volume units are given in cubic units. If the lengths are measured in inches, the volume is given in cubic inches, or you could see it as CU space IN. If the lengths are measured in feet, then the volume is given in cubic feet, or CUFT. So the reason it is cubic is because if you take a look at how we would multiply, you would do like 1 foot times 1 foot times 1 foot. Well, of course, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, but feet times feet times feet is cubic feet. You may also see it written like that. So here is another example. In inches, it would be the same thing. It would be 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. And of course, you would do that multiplication, 12 times 12 times 12, and get 1728. And then inches times inches times inches is cubic inches. So then that means that 1 cubic foot is equal to 1,728 cubic inches. So how do we convert cubic feet to cubic inches? What we're going to do is use those unit fractions, and we'll keep working these problems just like we've been doing. So I'm going to start out with converting 0.25 cubic feet to cubic inches. So start with what I have, 0.25 cubic feet over 1. Remember, we always cancel diagonally, so that cubic feet has to go into the denominator to cancel. So I have 1 cubic foot is equal to 1,728 cubic inches. Now I can cancel my cubic feet, and that leaves me with 0.25 times 1728. Over 1, and if you do that multiplication, you get 432 cubic inches. Here you can see some volume units and their conversions, or what they are equal to. There is a missing sign right here, so let me write that in for you. On the third line for the 1 gallon, this should be an approximate symbol. So here's some more conversion practice with the volume measurements. Go ahead and pause the video and try these. And when you're ready, come back and you will see the answers. So for A, you should have gotten 3.48 cubic yards. B, 2,772 cubic inches. and C would be approximately 4.88 BUs. If you have any questions, please put it in our team channel so other students may also see the question and my answers. Let's take a look at speed. Speed is usually specified by a compound unit that consists of a distance unit divided by a time unit. For example, speed given as 60 miles per hour can be written as 60 miles divided by 1 hour or over 1 hour. Or you may see it as 60 and then miles over hours. They all mean the same thing there. So to do these speed units, here are some time units that may be helpful to you. You can always do multiple steps to get to where you need to, but if you want to have these for easy access, you can have that. So when you are converting your speeds, remember that you will be needing to convert both distance and time units, and they will need 2 separate unity fractions. So let's take a look at an example. Here we have a compound conversion of 55 miles per hour to feet per second. And we're going to use 2 of the main 2 conversion factors to do it. And I'm also going to show you another one where if you needed to do 3, you will end up with the same answer. So for our first one, if I want to set this up with just 2 conversion factors, I can have 55 miles per 1 hour. Okay, remember that's what this means, 55 miles per hour. So I need to convert both miles and hours. So miles need to get to feet, hours need to get to seconds. So I'm going to start with my miles. 1 mile has 5,280 feet. Now I need to convert hours to seconds. So since hours is in the denominator, then it needs to go in the numerator. So 1 hour is equal to 3,600 seconds. And just so you can see what we've canceled, miles are canceling, hours are canceling. And now we're going to multiply across. So you're going to do 55 times 5,280 times 1 over 1 times 1 times 3,600. And remember what we're left with, feet per second. Now you can do your multiplication. So 55 times 5,280 gives you 290,400 over 3,600, and then you need to finish with division here. And that gives you 80.67. So this is approximately, only because we don't see miles per hour, feet per second usually in decimal answers, I'm going to say this is approximately 81 feet per second. There is another way to do this problem if you don't remember right off this conversion factor. So I am going to do that on the next page. So here I have, again, I'm going to work with the same problem. So 55 miles per hour, and we are trying to convert that to feet per second. So I have 55 miles per 1 hour. The number of feet in miles is not going to change, so 1 mile has 5,280 feet. 1 hour has 60 minutes, and 1 minute has 60 seconds. So notice I am doing the same problem but instead of going straight to that 3,600, I'm splitting it up and doing the steps. That is our normal time units. So canceling is our miles, our hours cancel, and our minutes. So we are still left with just feet per second. Now you're going to finish the same way, doing your multiplication across the numerator and across the denominator, and finish with division, and you're still going to end up at approximately 81 feet per second. Here are some for you to try. So I want you guys to pause the video, take some time to try these 3 speed measurement problems, and then you can start it back up to see the answers. Any questions that you may have, please put that in our Unit 1 questions channel. So our answers here are 19 feet per minute, 67.2 miles per hour, and 2.7 revs per second. Here is a conversion factor summary from section 2.2, covering all of the U.S. customary units that we have worked with. And this is also in your textbook. Remember, you have access to that digitally through My Math Lab, and of course you have access to the PowerPoint. So your homework for 2.2, of course, there's some practice in My Math Lab, section 2.2, and there's also some textbook practice for section 2.2. Any questions you may have, again, please put those in the team channel Unit 1 questions for others to also see any thing that they may be struggling with.